Hey yo, what's good? It's Capital X TV. For this episode, we're going to do another background check. Talking about how one of my musical pieces came together. It's not the latest, but next to latest. Released a track called Stand Up for Palestine. And I wanted to talk about how that song came to be. You know, as far back as I could remember, I always felt for the Palestinian people and never really read into the conflict there, deeply anyway, just surface. Probably picking up a little bit more than the average person picks up just watching the news and reading the newspaper. So I kind of knew about it, but like I said, not deeply, about it. But one day, my boy had made a post on Facebook. My boy B the Sufi. B the Sufi lives here in Norway as well. He's originally from West Africa, I believe. He's a good brother. I met him in Oslo years ago, probably going 8 years ago. We've performed a few times together. Me going to Oslo, even some shows that I promoted in Oslo, and he's come up, or should I say down south here to where I live. It's about a 6-hour drive. He's come up here to Kristiansand and performed with me, but we never really discussed doing any music together, but I kind of knew that, yeah, one day we probably would. We kind of clicked the moment that we met. He's just, a good brother. I got mad love for B. So one day he put this post up on Facebook, and it was like something had just recently happened, and to the Palestinian people. It was like another attack or something. Kind of escapes me right at the moment, but I remember his post like it was yesterday, and he had added a clip of a gentleman speaking, and what the guy was saying, it blew me away, and it made me go and actually find that piece. But before I found that piece, when I saw the post, and yeah, he had the Palestinian flag and all, I was like, I always kind of in the back of my head thought that one day it would be cool to write a track to stand up for the Palestinian people. So I hit up B the Sufi real quick, and I asked him, I was like, yo, what do you think about doing a track, for the Palestinian people, and he jumped on it right away. Yeah, let's do this. And I could feel his excitement, reading his words. So the first thing I did was I looked up who that gentleman was speaking in B the Sufi's post, and it wound up being a professor. I believe he's a professor. His name is Norman Finkelstein. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Please excuse me. But yeah, Norman Finkelstein, I believe it is. And I found his whole lecture, and within that lecture, or one of his lectures, I found them all over YouTube. So while I listened to this one lecture at length, that clip that B the Sufi had posted, it was included in that lecture, and I was just like, whoa. So I took that soundbite with a quickness, and so I told B the Sufi that I would try to make a beat, and I guess he instantly started writing. So I went in and started trying to make a beat, and I believe it was like the following day I sent him a beat, and I started writing to it. So he hit me up shortly after I sent him the beat, and he said he wanted something a little different. So I was like, yeah, I didn't take it personal. I'm not like this, straight up producer, I just wanted to find us a beat and get to work. I wanted to be on the pen. So when he asked if I could come up with something else, I was like, all right, let me put a little bit more into it, The beat that I had come up with was a little bit kind of commercial, on the commercial tip, so I kind of didn't blame him. So what I ended up doing was taking probably some like 20 hours digging through Palestinian music, You know, I figured maybe I'll find a clip. Instead of trying to make it sound Palestinian, I'll find Palestinian music, which wasn't easy. A lot of the Palestinian music I was coming across was really fast, you know, a lot of BPMs, and so I had to find a piece that I liked, that could be used, but also to be able to slow it down unless I found a piece that was slow enough. But eventually, like I said, after about 20 hours or so of digging, I came up with a clip that I was like, I could use this. I put it into a machine, and yeah, chopped it up, slowed it down, you know, cleaned it up the best that I could, started laying drums to it, and I made it. I'll let you hear a little clip of it. You know, I started off with the sample, so I slowed it down a lot, but you know, it works. It comes in right here. So pretty simple, you know, basically took the loop, you know, I chopped it up a little bit and kind of tweaked it up the best that I could, laid the drums down, then the bass line, boom, sent it off to Be the Sufi, and he absolutely loved it. So once again, I got to writing, and it took him, I don't know, a few days, and then he told me he was just about ready to record, but he had recorded like a rough, sent it to me, and he also sent me the lyrics that he wrote. And I was just like, yeah, everything that he was saying, it was like on the same lines of what I was saying, you know, just differently. It was worded different, but kind of the targets were all the same. So I was just like, yeah, I can't tell him to rewrite his, you know, that wouldn't be right. So I just scratched mine and said, you know, I'll just start again. So with that, you know, looking at the blank piece of paper, my mind went blank. So to get myself in the right frame of mind, I was like, you know, how much do I really know about the conflict? You know, and when I really thought about it, I was like, you know, not that much. So what I decided to do was to do some research, and that way maybe it would, you know, spark something up and give me some ammunition, so to speak. So what I did first is I cleared my head, you know, sort of like what a juror's supposed to do. You know, just go in there unbiased and listen to, you know, everything and come up with a conclusion. You know, that's the direction I chose to, you know, to go to do this project. So once again, I took probably somewhere between 25 to 30 hours of reading, watching videos. I don't know how many debates I watched. It was just a lot. I took in a lot of information, and I'll be honest, going in like that, you know, trying to be, you know, unbiased and not, you know, it's like clean slate. I think the first thing I watched was a debate, and the first person that spoke was, of course, pro-Israel, and I was just like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, maybe I'm wrong here. You know, the arguments that they were making were yeah, moving. I mean, it really hit me. I was just like, whoa, maybe I'm wrong here. It's like I didn't know what to think. So, but then here comes, you know, the pro-Palestine argument, and I mean, just totally dismantled everything that was said. And then I was just like, okay, now we're like, okay, not quite 50-50. There was kind of a, you know, the Palestine argument was heavy, and I just kept going at it like that till, yeah, I was just confused as to, you know, why anyone would not support the Palestinian people. You know, I'm being serious, and I say this, you know, with all sensitivity. I have, you know, dear friends that I know have family, you know, in Israel and are Jewish, and man, I say this with all sensitivity. It's like I just find it difficult to support the argument of the Israeli people, especially at the cost of the Palestinian people. It's you know, like I said in the beginning, I flat out just stood up for Palestinian people. I mean, it's like I could smell injustice. So anyway, like I said, I went deep into looking into this issue, and at the end of the day, I felt justified to stand up for Palestine, and rewrote my lyrics. And by the time I finished writing my lyrics, Beta Sufi had sent me his. I dropped it all in Pro Tools, and when I released a single, it was the first time that I released a single with the instrumental and also an extended version. So what I did was I took Dr. Norman Finkelstein's clip and used it for the extended version so people can hear, because the testimony that really hit me the hardest were actual let's say ex-military and people that were just raised with the tradition and their Jewish beliefs in Israel, and how they had claim to the land and they believed it. Some of them, they feel obligated to join the military, and some of these individuals were in the military, and that's when they realized that what they were doing was wrong. It didn't feel right to them, and yeah, I could relate to that. Within the fight of the death penalty, it's the same thing. I hear people's arguments. Oh, they're standing up for the victims and they want justice. So they want these people executed. An eye for an eye. And believe me, man, back in the day, I was that ruthless. I was somebody that was so vengeful, it wasn't even funny. So I could relate to that, But I changed, and I think I changed for the better. So when I was fighting against the death penalty, it's like no matter how heinous a crime an individual committed, I still didn't feel it was justified to take that individual's life, because it's like how can you justify that? You're lowering yourself to that level, killing, those that kill to show people that killing is wrong. It just doesn't make any sense, So it was the same thing, seeing these people that were in, the military and, fighting to take over Palestine, and then they had a change of heart, and now they stand up for the Palestinian people, or they at least look for a solution where everyone is, safe and protected and equal, And I don't know what the solution is. I don't have that type of answer, but I definitely know it's not killing off people or, expelling people from their lands. It just, everything about it to me, was wrong. And you could look it up for yourself, and if you have a moral compass, you would definitely see what it is, for what it is. Standing up for Palestine is proper. That's the right side of history. If you oppose the Palestinian people, I'm sorry, you need to get your moral compass calibrated. But that's just my opinion, So that's how it all came together. And actually, while I was recording my vocals, I kind of felt there was something missing, and I invited my girl to sing on it. Not sing, I wanted her to just like hum through it. And what she added to it, I kind of gave her an idea of the melody, and she just took it to the next level, and I think she did an awesome job. It just fit perfect. And once I finished mixing and mastering it, I sent it to Beta Sufi, and he was totally pleased. And while he was checking it out, I was working on the cover artwork, which I did, and yeah, I had to put the Palestinian flag. And so what I did was I made my part of the song, a statement, of what we should all do. We should stand up for Palestine. There's no question about it. Like I said, if you are on the fence about it, or not sure, I urge you to to do a little research. Watch a few debates. To me, that was the most compelling, way of learning about the conflict, where each side will give you their, they give their side of the story and their sides of the argument, and you can weigh it out for yourself. I mean, for me, it was just obvious. It was like, starting to move over to the Palestinian side, felt like, yeah, I'm trying to help, a condemned prisoner, to not be executed. That's basically what it feels like. And there's a lot of people that just don't want to see it. No, they're criminals. They don't belong there, So the best way to do it is to look into it. You can hear my dog in the background, man. He wants to put his 2 cents in. He's for Palestine as well. But anyway, that's how Stand Up for Palestine came together, man. The whole thing, I don't know, it took probably a week and a half to 2 weeks. And then with the release and everything, waiting for sample clearance and all that, it took about a month till it finally was available on all streaming platforms. So if you haven't yet, man, check out the songs. I highly recommend you check out the extended version, but definitely, you're more than welcome to listen to all 3 versions, the short version and the instrumental. I would appreciate it. I will put the link down in the description. And once again, man, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Trying to get that, that subscribers, trying to mount them up, Once I get to about 1,000, then maybe I'll start doing these live rather than taping them. But for now, I just feel comfortable doing it like this. And once you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I when I post another video. And I'm trying to make these short, but it's difficult, it really is. For one, I'm long-winded, but for two, it's like the story is what it is, and I wanna say it to you, and I'm basically freestyling these. There's no script, I just come up with the topic and I let loose, and that's just the way it is. But those of you that have subscribed and all that, I appreciate it. Those of you that have commented, and hit that thumbs up, man, I love you. I love you all. So we'll go out listening to the beginning to Stand Up for Palestine, Capital X, Beat a Sufi, and Miss Eat It.
My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on both sides was exterminated. Both of my parents were in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. And it's precisely and exactly because of the lessons my parents taught me and my 2 siblings that I will not be silent when Israel commits its crimes against the Palestinians. And I consider nothing more despicable than to use their suffering and their martyrdom to try to justify the torture, the brutalization, the demolition of homes that Israel daily commits against the Palestinians. So I refuse any longer to be intimidated or browbeaten by the tears. If you had any heart in you, you would be crying for the Palestinians, not for what's been done.
Let me see the peace sign of like Arafat, no more killing, no more ethnic cleansing.